Hey guys, welcome back. And tonight I have Travis here with me. Today we're doing an episode, we're calling it like cool stuff, right? And we're going to talk about cool stuff that are fun and interesting. I have a couple topics. I think Travis has a few topics, but we want to know, those in the live chat, what cool stuff topics do you want to talk about? Because we want to do this thing where things that we're interested in, no matter what it is, whether it's iPhone, Android, the new Quantum Leap episode, and or anything that is fun and exciting and new that we're also interested in, let's talk about. I mean, let's start with you, Travis. Is there anything that's happened this week that's exciting? And I just got done watching the second episode of Quantum Leap, and I'm like, I'm in.
I haven't seen Quantum Leap, but I do want to ask you, because I know that you were talking about Andor, but I didn't get to watch your podcast because when you put it out, I hadn't seen any of the episodes. Now I've seen them. Mm-hmm. So without spoiling anything, I would just love to understand your thoughts about the show in general, if you like it, dislike it, because some people don't like it, some people like it. I just want to understand your thoughts on it.
Yeah, quick summary on that one. We'll go to another topic.
Yeah, of course.
For me, it's different. And that's not a bad thing. And episode 3 is better than the first 2 episodes, so give it a chance. I haven't watched episode 4 yet, but I'm excited to watch it.
Gotcha. Paul says he wants to talk about our love for Double Dribble. That's a deep cut because I beat UAG very badly.
I heard about that.
On Double Dribble. So UAG was doing a stream about can you beat him on any sports game? He's good at sports games. And I randomly trolled him about Double Dribble because if you've ever played Double Dribble did you ever play Double Dribble back in the NES?
Yeah. On the NES. Yeah, that's how I played it.
Yeah. It was very much a exploitable game in a lot of ways. And even Peter Griffin on the Family Guy actually even made fun of it one time. And I just worked him. He's no good at it. He's no good at it. So shout out to that. That's fun.
Yeah, I'll have to play that game again. It's been a while since I played it. That used to be my jam. Like, I think I played Double Dribble more than NBA Jam, I want to say. Like an entire summer in 1989 or something like that, whenever it was. Yeah, there's a good subject. We talked a little bit. We can get into the Arcade1Up topic if you want.
Yeah, whatever's clever.
There was Biggie D talked about Code Mystics. I remember you mentioned something about Code Mystics.
Yeah.
That you want.
Yeah. So yesterday I was on Moat's live stream, and something came up about Blitz and the multiplayer, and I had thought that Code Mystics was working on it. That is not true. And here's the thing that's really interesting about this. So one thing about this community is there's some really great parts of it. Like your show is awesome, Michael B is awesome. Like there's some really cool people in this community. But the community itself is weird. It's newer, right? So there's a lot of growing that this community will do versus established communities like where I come from in tech. What I'm noticing is one thing that people don't do in this community is if they're wrong about something, they tend to double down on it for some. I don't understand why this is. Instead of just saying I was wrong. So I'm going to try to lead the way here and say I was wrong. Can you imagine that? Is that crazy? That's weird. They came out with a comment today.
I can't believe you said that.
I know, right? Can you imagine? Like,
shocking.
Oh my God, I got something wrong. Don't say it out loud. Oh my God. Here's what's interesting though. They did tweet today and they had some really interesting information that I asked a question to them. So they posted a whole thing about how they're not doing the tech for Blitz, which I knew they weren't doing the initial tech. I thought they were just doing the multiplayer portion. What is being used is their technology. So Code Mystics technology is being used for Blitz, including their networking technology. But they said something in the post which I was kind of confused by, because it's like saying you ever say something like, man, I wish I could tell you about this thing, and then just not say anything else. You're like, well, why would you bring it up if you can't tell me about this thing? They totally did it in this thing, in this comment. Towards the end, they said, due to a recent expansion of the license. Yeah. So it says like the same is currently true for Blitz. Another developer is currently using our middleware. So again, their Code Mystics technology is in Blitz to provide online registration firmware services. Thanks to a very recent expansion of that license, those developers may now, at their discretion, choose to avail of further features in Gemini. Now, if you don't know what Gemini is their networking software specifically, which includes rollback. So I asked them in a tweet, does that mean they might use rollback? And their response to that, as you can see right here on the right-hand side, is the answer is, right below that. The answer is nuanced, which means they can offer parts of rollback, and anyone who uses their software could, but whether they do it or not is more up to them. So for example, Code Mystics did all of KI, so they were able to put rollback in. The developer, whoever it was who did Mortal Kombat, could have supported it, but didn't choose to for whatever reason, which means Blitz could have it if the developer chooses to use it, but it's available to them. Right. At the end of the day, it's using Code Mystics software, so who cares who's actually developing it? It's kind of irrelevant. It's the same hardware. So yeah, I got the specific wrong. Okay. I mean, like, is that the story here? Is that really the story? I think the bigger story, if we're going to talk about it at all, is that it's so weird how blown up the whole community is about this. Like, why, Justin?
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't really know that Code Mystics was involved in Blitz. It's probably because I'm not following closely to that topic very much. But I'm glad Code Mystic, tried to clarify it, and it even seems like they're not fully disclosing everything about it. Probably because it's a private relationship they have between another private company, and the exact details are not for public consumption. But I do enjoy tweets by Code Mystics in general, because it seems like whoever is the person behind it is someone in technology. Yeah. Well, both of us are kind of in tech, so we're like, kind of drawn to that type of conversation. Other words they could probably use in this is Code Mystics. They say middleware. A platform is another term that could be interchanged with that. And so what Code Mystic has done, and Arcade1Up has been somewhat transparent about this in the last year or so, because they use the term we've purchased licensed for the online technology. And I've heard John D say that a few times, and I never knew exactly what it meant. And then now it's like, oh, it's Gemini is what they're talking about, right?
Yeah, which is cool. And I think Mystery Encoder said, but MK didn't use rollback, and that's literally what I said, because it's literally in this message that they didn't use. It's really in the tweet to me. I literally said that. Yeah, I mean, the developer, whoever is taking Code Mystic software, can choose to implement rollback or whatever, but it's up to that developer to do so. And the thing is, it might be, according to Code Mystics, it would be like kind of a hard thing. They'd have to go back and according to their spec, they would have to, and you're the programmer, maybe you could explain this better than me.
Yeah.
What does this mean?
It looks like what they're saying is, so the answer is nuanced. It offers reusable parts of rollback. So it's referring to that their technology offers reusable parts, but it also needs the game code to be, he said, he has this interesting phrase. It's built with the word re right here to our specs, a guide doc. So what I read this to mean is they, Code Mystics, when you license their technology, they provide a manual, a guide, and it tells the developer, hey, this is what you need to do to integrate with our APIs, our interface to be able to add that feature. But since it's another company that's doing that integration, they're just licensing the technology, it's not up to Code Mystics to enable that feature. Because they're just, it's like a menu. It's like, here's a menu of options, right? And the developer that's doing the integration is a company that's been contracted by Arcade1Up. I think they've used To Do Games before. It could be To Do Games. It could be their internal team, I believe they have in Hong Kong. Maybe they're doing the integrations. And so they have to choose whether or not to do all of those integrations. And it's probably resources, time, and money, to make that decision.
Yep. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Maybe it will come out great. Maybe it won't. Who knows? No way to tell until it comes out, which hopefully it comes out well, because I think that's what, anyone who's working on this project wants. They want it to come out good. It's kind of a crap show right now. I'm pretty sure they want it to be not a crap show. Personally, I love my Blitz. If no one else buys it, it doesn't affect me. I don't really care. If anyone in the chat wants to buy it, cool. If they don't, cool. I don't care. I love what I have, except for one thing. And Justin, I've never said this anywhere since I got the, I had the Blitz for over a week. I've had it for a week and like a half. Okay. This is going to be controversial. I'm going to tell you the one thing that I really cannot stand about it. And it's not the marquee, which I've talked about, which is trash. They need to do something better. It really came to a head today. And it frustrated me so much that I felt the need to come public about this, and people are going to think, oh my God, he's going to dunk on Arcade1Up. Yes, I am. Green Bay Packers on Blitz 99 are terrible. I cannot beat them, Justin. They're so difficult. What do? They keep crushing my defensive line, and I can't get past them. I drop back. And they blitz me every time they do the game. They do the game name. Justin, they crush my team. I can't beat them.
Oh, is it every single time you play against them?
Every single freaking time. This game cheats as it is. This game already cheats. And then they cheat more when they put the Green Bays in there. And before them, they had Atlanta Falcons. They were cheap as hell too. But the Green Bay Packers, someone who worked on this game had a cousin that worked on the Green Bay Packers.
And like, let's crank that one up.
They did. You never heard the NBA Jam thing where the guy who worked on NBA Jam made sure that if you playing Pistons versus the Bulls, and did a last second shot, you're going to win? The same thing happened. He did it to the Green Bay Packers. I can't stand that dude. I can't stand him. It sucks. I hate him.
Oh, that's funny. So, all right. So fun conversation with Blitz. Those in the chat, if you've just joined us, Travis and I are going, it's rapid fire topics, but we're spending 5 or 10 minutes on each one. So we just talked about Blitz a little bit. If you have more questions about Blitz, hit it in the chat and we'll review it. We talked about Code Mystics, and we need some more topics because we got to do some rapid fire. So let's look in the chat.
Yeah, what's going on?
We talked a little bit about Andor. We can move past that. Quantum Leap. If you love Quantum Leap, make sure you watch there's 2 episodes on Peacock now for Quantum Leap. The second episode, it doesn't have Scott Bakula in it. It's like shows him for like a little hologram, but he's not in it, is my point, right? But I am falling in love with the new characters, and there's enough callbacks to the original series that it's not a reboot, it's a sequel series. So,
I've never seen the original, so yeah. Do you think it's good for someone who's never seen any of them before?
So, okay, let me try to sell Quantum Leap to someone who never watched the original. So the new one, imagine it's made by the same guy that Don Belisarius. He did NCIS. So if you watched NCIS or some of the shows made by him, they're all every week is another serial episode that just talks about, it's just a new thing of the week. It's the story of the week, right?
Yeah.
And so what's nice about Quantum Leap is they can do pretty much anything they want in the story. He can leap, he can time travel into any person within his own lifetime. Oh. And so the story can be, at least in the original Quantum Leap, he leaped into Lee Harvey Oswald, right? And it was is he going to assassinate the president? Is that what's going to happen? And the end result was very satisfying. That was a very epic episode. He quantum leaped into Elvis, and what happened there. So there's a lot of these great epic episodes, and some of them are just stories. They're just great stories that are just most of the episodes are nobodies. It's just average people like you and me, and just he leaps into him and he needs to right something that went wrong. It could be the person didn't have an opportunity to didn't have enough nerve to make a move on this girl that he needs to marry. I don't know. There's tons of stories, right?
So who would you leap into, Justin?
Oh my gosh. Who would I leap into?
Who would you leap into?
I'm gonna change your question. What I'm hoping in Quantum Leap they do is a really, I'll give you an example of a great episode from the original one. I'm spoiling the original, but on JFK, that episode, there's something wrong with the time travel machine, so he keeps leaping into Lee Harvey Oswald. Jump to the end. He keeps he can't control himself. He keeps becoming Lee Harvey Oswald, and he ends up firing at the president. And they're trying to, and he has to fix what went wrong.
Yeah.
And he all of a sudden leaps into a security guard and runs towards. He's going to try to save JFK, and he can't do it. He dies at the hospital. And then the end of the episode is, but you saved Jackie. Which is crazy. So in Quantum Leap, the original episode, the original timeline, Jackie was shot too.
Wow.
So this is a cool concept of a time travel. He fixed the thing that's actually our timeline.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's epic. But that was in my dad's timeline, right? I wasn't born. I wasn't born when JFK was alive. I wasn't alive then. So what if the new Quantum Leap, he leaped into 9/11?
Yeah, that would be, that would be nuts. My brain would,
and then it's what are you going to do? What, you got to stop the plane? And then the story would be there was another plane and he stopped that one.
Oof.
and then we're in the timeline of Quantum Leap that there was actually going to be worse. I don't know. That would be crazy.
Ugh. Oh, that gives me kind of shivers, man. I don't know. I wouldn't want to leap in anything.
Would that be too much for you?
Listen, my whole life is enough. I don't need more. Don't let me leap into someone else's. The thing is, you think you might want to leap into someone else's life, and you realize their life is more trash than yours. You're like, nah, I cut my receipt. Let me go back to mine.
All right, let's see if we got anything in the chat of another topic. See, how about this? I'll look for a topic. Those in the live chat, hit a topic and we'll talk about it. Tell me about your streaming equipment. How do you... Because I think there's a lot of people that like watch the channels that are also interested in like how to YouTube, you know? Like I've always wanted to talk about that. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, listen, first bunch of my videos were done on my phone. Same thing with like even Mr. Beast. I think his first up to like 100,000 subscribers was with his phone. I think an iPhone 6 or something. So that's, I mean, phones nowadays are ridiculously good. Like their video quality is really good. Even their audio quality is really good. You don't really need anything beyond that. You can even live stream from them. But if you want to do something that's a little bit more like this, you have a lot of options. I mean, again, you can use your phone for video live streaming, and there's apps that allow you to stick your phone on top, and then it becomes your camera if you don't have a webcam. Then there's different levels of webcams. If you can either use like a DSLR or an actual webcam or whatever. I'm using the brand new Insta360 Link, which is a 4K webcam that has tracking features and all other types of shenanigans. And then I have a couple mics here. What I use for my podcast, I use for this, which is my Rodecaster, my Rodecaster Pro, my Procaster, which is great. This one is this is just something that Deity sent to me. I really like Deity, and I just like using it. It's a USB mic, so there's all types of options, man. What are you using?
So I am using the SM7B, which I think is it's a pretty decent microphone. I'll share some screen on some of the hardware that I use. Not sponsored by any of these guys, just showing it off. So and I think the Rodecaster that you have is it's around that same price. I think it's a little cheaper actually.
It's a little bit cheaper, yeah.
I haven't tried it yet. I did buy one a couple weeks ago, or a couple of months ago. I was going to do a second setup, and I was going to try that mic out. So the SM7B, really great. I use this one because it's a vocal mic, so sometimes I do the karaoke's. I actually bought this to record vocals. It is probably one of the standards when it comes to microphones for music. But you can, Joe Rogan uses it, for example, in his podcast. It's kind of a podcasting standard. These, I think the one you have and the one I have are the two that are like the top, like de facto standards. There are others out there, but I think they're pretty popular. I did recently pick up the Rodecaster Pro 2.
So I have the one. I kind of want the 2, but I've heard different things from people that are really into audio. Oh, look, it's Bkong.
It's Bkong.
What's up? I heard you guys were talking about equipment, and I'm here to learn because my equipment needs upgrading, and I use my phone still for everything.
Yeah, so I do have the Rodecaster Pro 2. I only got it because I was looking into it when it was available. Do you know what I mean? I probably would have got the first one if I thought about it a year ago. It's pretty good. What's nice about it is I can plug this microphone directly into it. It has a preamp in it, and preamps are kind of hard when it comes to this microphone, and this one can do it just fine. So right now, like I'm changing the fader on my vocals, you know, my microphone right now. I can make it hotter, quieter. It also has this feature called mix minus. So I can, like right now, I can make it where any of the audio that's from my computer is not coming back into the stream. But I can also change that and make it where it is coming into the stream. I basically can make it where I can hear things that you can't. That's, I think, one of the main features.
Is that what you use to modulate your voice too?
Yeah, so it has this. Let's see, where's it at? Hey. Yeah. It has a voice modulate. I'm just pressing see the little green button on the screen there?
Yeah.
That's what I'm pressing.
And then it automatically modulates the voice. I can change the volume. You guys are coming in. I can hear you by changing. Like I'm going to turn the dial all the way down. I can't hear you right now. Like if you were talking to me, I wouldn't be able to hear you. So there's another mixer that's like the audio that's coming back to me. So it's pretty nice.
Oh, there's some great new what are these topics in the chat? I've noticed. We should.
Yeah, I
definitely
started starring them. Can you guys see the star?
Yeah.
Is there any of them that I'm missing? People.
Yeah, there's some more. There's a couple more. I think.
Okay.
That, yeah. Like favorite NES and stuff like that. Oh yeah, you got that one.
Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah.
Let's see. So yeah, in the chat, what's really been helpful is people are typing in subject or topic at the very beginning. Let's see. I start a few more, so keep them coming. We can see if we can.
There's some good ones.
Yeah, we can see if we can just kind of run right through them. All right, let's start with this first one. Okay, subject. Where did all the new 80s titles go? No new 80 titles in 3/4 scale at all this year. That's the golden age of arcades. So
yeah, I don't disagree, but like they hit all the major ones. So what's left besides Donkey Kong, which is a licensing nightmare?
Yeah.
What's the other big ones? And don't say Cubert. That still needs to be needs to come out. Like what is it? I'm asking honestly.
So they got Tron, right? There's
Tron.
a lot of people that talk. So the Defender is one that they've done, but they want like a better version of it.
Sure.
People have been saying a Stargate or Defender 2. It's kind of funny. Basically, Williams is a big one, like a variation of those William games. I'd like to hear in the chat what you guys say on this topic. Like, is there?
Yeah, they're saying things like Pole Position, Moon Patrol, Spy
Robotron.
Hunter. Yeah, the Robotron is like a big one as well.
But I mean, you got to look at some of these. Shut up, UAG. It's so dumb. But you also have to look at these from a standpoint of like, how many units are they going to sell? Like Arcade1UP has to know that people are going to buy these. So some of the ones that are a little bit more kind of obscure, unless Arcade1UP does the thing which I suggested, which is like do a crowdfunding for certain ones and then sell direct, which they could totally do. I don't know if they'll come out with some of these, but there's a couple.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it's here we go. Here we go. Stargate, Robotron, Moon Patrol, Satan's Hollow.
Yeah.
Contra, which when I was a Galloping Ghost, I played Contra, and I really do like the arcade version of Contra.
It's great.
Like, it's really good. Michael B's like, no, the NES one is better, but I've converted. I'm like, I mean, what pulls me in for the arcade Contra is it. I mean, it just has better graphics. Totally. It's vertical, but all the animations, there's just so much more going on in that game than the NES version. Zaxxon, we got Narc. All right, so that's a good topic. Let's see if we can get this rapid. So he'd leap into Billy Corgan. Topic. Anyone watch the Monsters movie on Netflix?
Not yet, but I know that's what Rob Zombie did that.
Oh, is that right?
I think he actually directed it or something, if I'm correct. I mean, I've been wrong the last 24 hours, but I'm pretty sure I heard that he was doing it because he's a big Monsters fan.
Yeah, that guy's tall. I remember I walked down a hallway. I was at an Ozfest concert, and I was backstage, and I'm just walking by, and then Rob Zombie was coming the other way.
Wow.
And there's only one thing I remember about him, and I'm not trying to hate, but he didn't smell very good.
Oh, no. Well, he's got that rock star smell, man.
Yeah,
it's just the ambiance that they bring.
It's probably right after his show, so...
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's see.
What's
Garage
next?
Gamer. Travis.
I mean, holy crap. The iPhone 14 Pro, or 13 or 11 or 12, the video quality on them is great. I've been using my phone for the last couple of videos on my newer channel for like some B-roll and stuff. And most of the time you can't even tell the difference, especially if you have good lighting. Incredible stuff. And I saw a Garage Gamer's video, really good quality. Look at that.
Galaxy S22 Ultra.
Incredible camera on that thing.
Yeah, I got a lot of good comments from my last review, which, if you guys remember, I did a review on the Yoga Flame, and at the very beginning of the video, there was animation that showed it was a review unit. So I'm all FTC certified.
You got to, man. You got to. Look at a super chat here. Look at this.
I used 6 different cameras on that video.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was just technically there's 2 right now, right? So
right.
there's 2, and then I had one of them was an iPhone 7.
Yep.
So all of these like little side shots were an iPhone 7. But the people that like when I watched it back, like the camera that had like the best lighting was my iPhone 12 Pro. Like that, they looked great. I was like, I got these Canons, and it was like, I don't know, the iPhones is right up there. It depends.
Yeah.
It depends on what lens you have. If you have a really good lens on a mirrorless camera or a DSLR, you can get some really good shots.
It's all
You
about
can
lighting,
also-
though.
That is so true.
All about lighting.
Yeah. You want to do a round of favorite NES games?
Yeah. You know what I really liked that you never heard anyone talk about was River City Ransom. Anyone remember that?
I don't remember that one.
I don't know that game. No.
It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up that has like RPG elements. It was a weird one that I randomly came across when I was younger, and that game, I'll never forget that game. I loved it. It was fantastico.
All right, let's. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. This is.
Yeah, it looks like trash now, but it's fun.
This is Nintendo Complete.
Yep.
Oh wow.
You go around beating up people, and then
fun.
You pick up new moves like you learn in books how to do new
Kind of looks
martial
Double
arts moves.
Dragon like.
Yeah, but it's like little anime style Japanese.
Yeah, but then you learn moves like you buy moves and stuff, and it's crazy, man.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, that looks pretty dope.
Buy moves. All right, B, you got one?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of one that just like pops in my mind, and I think like RC Pro-Am was a game that I played a lot.
Yeah, that was good.
I didn't realize that RC would stand for like remote control back then. I was like, man, these are really tiny cars. And then I was like, oh, okay. So
That's exactly what it was.
what's that? They are
realize
really
those
remote
were
control
remote
cars. And I'm like,
You didn't
oh.
realize that, B, when you were playing this game?
No,
I on the top.
I thought it was just a little marker, right? I mean, I didn't know what RC was. I couldn't afford RC cars back then. They didn't give us RC cars when I was a kid.
That's why you got it on Nintendo, man. That's what
That's right. I had to play my cousin's Nintendo that had one, right?
Yeah.
What about yours, Justin?
For me, it's weird. So I used to mod consoles 2016, 2017. And so I would just like test games a lot. And I fell in love with this game called Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, that's a good game. I remember that.
It's a good one.
Seriously, like I'd probably say one of my favorite games to beat. I don't care. Contra, put in the Konami code, play for 15 minutes. That is a joy. I remember my daughter had been playing a lot of games. And so she played Contra for the first time, and it was just, she had it. She had been gaming enough retro games that I showed her Contra for the first time. And I remember the very first time we played it, we were going on whatever level it is, where you got to jump and you got to keep on, you're going up, right? It's a vertical ascent, right?
Yeah.
And we're literally jumping at exactly the same time. My daughter's probably like 8 years old, and I was like, this game is so great. My daughter and I are like in sync.
Yeah.
So Contra's a good.
You got a couple super chats that came through.
Okay, let me grab those.
And can we acknowledge like How to Bachelor and anybody else who's being impacted by the hurricane right now?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
People in Florida.
Yeah, people in Florida. Just want to let you know that thanks for being here. I know that things are tough and rough, and hope you guys are staying safe and doing what you can. Our hearts and thoughts are with you. So How to Bachelor, stay dry, stay good, my man.
Do you have something handy about? I know you've been sharing some information about people that are in Florida.
Yeah, I mean, just in case, like, if you don't have a place to get to, there are shelters open by the state of Florida Emergency Management Department, as well as Red Cross has shelters open right now. Last night in Red Cross shelters, there was like 13,000 people staying in shelters, and that could jump to 60,000 by the end of the week. So there's definitely a lot of people impacted by this, and I've been watching it because that's my work and deploying tons of people out there to help. So if you are so inclined and want to deploy to help out, you can actually contact your local Red Cross. They are looking for people to be trained and deploy to help out for 2-week deployment. So if you have the time, something to think about as well. But stay safe for all you folks. I know there's a lot of Florida people that follow this community, and people are posting like, I hope my arcades are okay. They're like, I'm glad I have risers or something like that, right? But yeah, I just wanted to call that out.
Yeah, so console fanboy, he wanted to do this message. I got to do it in his voice. Wait. This? No.
Yeah, there we go. This is Console Fanboy's voice. He says, just want to say that I'm enjoying Blitz. I don't want to feel guilty or called a shill just because I'm enjoying something that most people are hating on. Blitz is easily Arcade1Up's, I added that in there, I guess, 1Up's best product. Now I feel for the II Arcadians.
I will say one thing. I do agree. It is the most played Arcade1Up cab that I have now. Certainly in the first week. I've never had an Arcade1Up that I bought and I played every single day for the first week that I had it. This was it. Even though I'm not into football at all, I love it. It's fun.
Wait, you can buy this if you're not into football?
Which is really weird, right? I mean, if you like
Because
video
I've been
games,
avoiding buying it because I'm not like really.
bro, I don't watch
football.
football. Are you kidding me? No, I don't watch it all. I love this game. It is infuriating at times, though. Just to be clear.
Yeah, for me, I didn't end up buying the Blitz, and it was because I never bought NBA Jam, the full size, but I remember playing NBA Jam at the arcade, this bowling alley, and I remember playing Blitz, but I never remember loving Blitz, right, as a kid. I loved NBA Jam. So it's hard for me to be like, I'm going to buy Blitz, but not buy NBA Jam. They're both 4-player cabinets that you can play online. We had a lot of fun, when we were together playing Blitz together, but that's us together, right? It was going to be like, what is it going to be like if I have it at home? So
Yeah, if you play by yourself, I mean,
Oh, playing by yourself is fun, Travis.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I don't care. I'll play it.
It's more fun when you have others, obviously.
For sure.
But yeah, How to Bachelor, Hurricane Ian here sucks balls protecting the house. So my dude, stay safe. Yeah, definitely. Hearts are out to people. They say it's going to be bad. You never know until it hits landfall, but it did today. So the next couple of days, stay on watch. I know it's going up. Somebody mentioned they were in Georgia's path too. Even parts of Michael B. Newfoundland was hit by a hurricane last week too. And Puerto Rico and Cuba. Oh my goodness. There's just a lot of stuff happening right now. So let's be fortunate that we can enjoy these conversations about arcades to really help us distract from everything else happening, right? I think this is a great hobby to continue these conversations with great other content creators. So I appreciate both of you for providing entertainment to the people that enjoy this content too.
yeah. Here's a topic: is Justin a bidet man? Okay, I have a quick story. I don't have very many stories, but when I was, I don't know, what was I, like 20, I was friends with members of a band that became Slipknot. And what happened was the members of that band very quickly went from poor to very rich. And the clown, he bought a brand new house in the city I live in now, Johnston, Iowa. And he invited us over, and he says, Justin, you got to try my bidet. Now, he got a bidet, but he had it modded. It was a very special custom bidet. He had a Nintendo controller, and hot and cold, and the arrows could point exactly where you wanted to go. He goes, do you have to go? I was like, I do. He goes, I'll give you some privacy. You're going to love it. It was amazing. So immediately go home, tell my wife, I was married young, I got to have a bidet. She's like, you're not rich. But now I'm not rich. I'm still not rich. But now bidets have come down in price. That was probably like a $500 throne, right?
Yeah.
And then plumbing. So here's where I'm at. I don't know how to install a bidet that can heat, can have warm water.
I just did it.
I think I want that.
Yeah, well, Travis gave me one, and there's one that you can install the cold water that's under the toilet, but the hot water, you just get it from the hot water tap up from your sink. So you have to do an attachment from that, and then it's 2 wires, and it's optional because it actually takes a little while for the warmness to come out, so it's not like right away. But yeah, I was meaning to make it short, Travis, because I filmed part of that installation process. So I have like part of like my first like reaction, like, whoa. Whoa.
Good on the outsiders.
Next time.
We're on next week.
There you go.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this question: is it worth getting a bidet even if it's you don't have heated water?
Yeah, I mean, none of mine have heated water, 100%.
Yeah, it's still
Okay.
good.
Can you put a link in the chat of which one I should get?
Look, here's the thing. I converted everyone on the outsiders, and none of them were believers. None of them before I had them try it. All of them now are complete believers.
You bidet shell.
Oh, I'm a believer. It's just I've had access to a very nice
to the
bidet.
Cadillac. Now, I have never had the Cadillac, so I've only ever had the Yugo, but it works and it does a good job. And when you get into
because it's very weird, right? So so I have this. I have an office where I work, and then there's a bathroom near it. It's literally my bathroom. Not because I said it's my bathroom. It's because no one else wants to go in there. No. So like I have my wife probably is not interested in a bidet, but it doesn't matter because I could install one in this other one. So it's like my choice, It won't freak out the family. Okay.
I'm telling you, do it.
Another topic. It's not a happy topic, but it's worth bringing up. So many people found out today that Coolio passed away, and
yeah, it's sad.
That sucks.
Yeah, what a great artist. I don't know what he's been up to lately.
Right.
But, I mean, who doesn't remember when he came out with stuff and you had like, come along, you're right on the
fantastic side, a bit of side.
Yeah, I mean, there was the
Gangsta's
when
Paradise.
Any artist, the thing is that it makes, in Gangsta's Paradise, that always just makes you feel older. Because you're like, oh man, I grew up listening to this man, or he's dead now. Like, what? Like, how did Coolio get to be almost 60? Like, when did that happen?
Yeah.
Bro, did I tell you about the time when I very first figured out I was old or getting old? This was a long time ago, which means I'm even older.
I think it's time to spotlight.
Here we go. Story time. All right. So I was in Target. I was walking through the toy section. I can't remember why. I think I was just cutting through to get to the electronics. And I saw at the bottom the Super Soaker. Now, I used to use Super Soaker all the time. When I was younger, I'd play with my friends and my cousins, and we would, it was fun, especially in the summertime. I lived on the East Coast at the time. Super Soakers were amazing. And I saw it, and instantly the nostalgia hit. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I'm actually maybe I'll pick it up. Then I saw this red sticker that said 20th anniversary edition. Immediately, I was like, no! That did not happen 20 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I felt old in an instant, and I walked away. Didn't buy it.
Wait, that just happened. I thought this was gonna be like a while ago story.
This was
is recent.
No, this
right?
years ago.
Super Soaker.
this is
They
years
just
ago.
re-released it a couple years ago.
Yeah, the 20th
right?
anniversary edition was years ago, though.
Oh, so now it's on the 25th edition? Because
It's
I just
probably like
I
the
just
30th, that's right.
I just bought some for my kids, and so they re-released them. But they look like the old school ones now. They're like not.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay. I did the same
so
thing, but I was at Comic-Con this year, and there's this toy line called Marvel Legends, and the original Marvel Legends was awesome because it came with the comic book, and then it came with like a base, like a wall stand that you can mount, and then you had this wall full of bases, and you can put the figures on it. And me and my college roommate would collect them and hunt them, and our college dorm or like room had all this stuff. And then they re-released them, and it said exactly that. 20th anniversary Marvel Legends new updated figures, and I was like, damn it.
I know. It's like,
Damn it. I
bless
messaged my college roommate, and I was like, yeah, we old.
Man, it goes so fast.
All right, so Jerry D says, just tuned in. What the hell are we talking about? Yes.
Hi.
So if
Hi.
you want to, whatever you guys want to talk
Hi.
about, type in topic
Aloha.
and then your topic. We're talking about your topics. And so if you don't like the topics we're talking about, then suggest new topics and demand us talking about those topics. And I am out of stars. I'm literally going through all of the chat. When I see the word topic, I'm starring it and be like, well, we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about that. And evidently, people want us to talk about slip and slide.
Slide. In other words, the break your back on rocks and slide? Is that what you mean?
Or
Slip and break your back?
the cheap edition where you just got
Water.
garbage trash bags and like
Yes.
cut them up and threw a hose on
Yeah.
them, slide it down.
All right. Has anyone got the Evercade?
No,
Nope.
that is not something I'm
I did
interested in.
order the new handheld one that has the rotate mode, the tape mode. So I look forward to playing with that, but I don't have that yet. Best way to potty train kids? Struggling with my 4-year-old.
Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo.
So I do have a suggestion. Make it uncomfortable for them to wee in their diapers. And they
Or
will
in their
not.
non-diapers,
There
right?
you
Like
go.
just gotta do that 2-3 day period where you just make that tradition. They're gonna make all those dirty clothes happen,
Yeah,
and then
if you're-
eventually they'll want to stop.
Yeah, if you're afraid of that, you can temporarily, you could go to cloth diapers. So here's the thing with regular traditional diapers, if you're using them, you pee in them, it absorbs so well, it's not uncomfortable. So they have no incentive to leave.
Yeah,
Okay, let's see.
and make the
That's-
potty place fun. They have
Yeah,
so
put an
many good
arcade in
things
there.
these days. Yeah, you can do a pottycade.
Arcade in there.
Pottycade.
Put your partycade in the pottycade.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Best destination city for visiting arcades. I think B knows a place.
Oh yeah, where we just visited might be a great destination for visiting arcades.
Yeah, so Chicago was
Chicago.
pretty sweet. We barely scratched the surface of Galloping Ghost and barely scratched the surface of just a whole bunch of barcades that are...
Yeah, the barcade scene there was insane. Like, we do not have that same scene here in Los Angeles. So I cannot recommend Los Angeles as a place or a destination to go visit for arcades specifically. I mean, there's a lot of other entertainment things you can do out here. But like the city of LA proper does not have a lot of stuff. Like Orange County has like that pinball, like Captain's Auction, which people know about. There's a couple of really random places I like to go play pinball now. I just discovered, but yeah, I can't say destination.
All right, we got a few more topics coming in. Keep them coming in. Just type in the word topic in the chat and then something that you want to talk about. It could be a funny joke or it could be actually serious. I got 3 queued up so far. No, it's 2. Steak, fish, or chicken?
Oh, come on. Well, not fish for sure. Fish is whatever. Steak or chicken? Steak, easy.
Steak for me for sure.
Same. All right, here's a good one. Arcade modding. What are some of the favorite mods? Sound, joystick, buttons. What are your go-tos?
So the easiest one it seems to, I mean, so the obvious ones are like joystick buttons, right? But the one that I've been doing lately that has made a huge difference, and it depends on the games you do it for, is adding a little $20 to $60 little 2.1 sound system in the Arcade1Ups. Like you put one in Blitz and put one in KI, they're different games. They sound completely different. It's kind of crazy. You put a Y connector coming out of the PCB, one goes to the normal speakers and the other one goes to a little 2.1. Sounds incredible. Blitz is like crazy, like it rumbles. It's awesome.
B, you got it. Like, can you? Sophie's choice, right? Like, how can you narrow it down?
I do a lot of different mods. It kind of depends on what you want to do. If you want to tinker and get the most out of your controls, you can like mod these to do other things, plug in a PC. But if you're talking about basic buttons and sticks, if you're talking about classic games and things, I'll just point. So the Big Blue is like a classic Street Fighter game. And so I think the HAP IL style buttons and sticks are really great for those kind of classic games and that button and feel. The versus games and any current modern fighting game where precision is much more kind of dynamic when you're playing games, I prefer sandwall sticks and buttons. So if you're looking for fighting games, are probably the only type of games I think are worth the button and stick upgrades, because if you're competing competitively on that online space, that is going to help you feel like you're competitive. If you're casually playing, even for a high score online, you might consider upgrading your buttons and sticks for something. But if you're casually playing, I don't think it's worth upgrading if you're not going to be that competitive about it. But it's all preference. Really, there's no best right or wrong. It's all about what you like and feel.
Yep.
There's a question right above that other one about the NBC2 video.
Yeah. Can you find it?
Chris Angelos, right above the Robbie. Okay, yeah, that one. I want to address this one because John did mention when he came onto my stream that he was going to post a video. And I've been bugging him just to ask what happened about it because it didn't happen. I think he's going through approvals to get it released. He recorded something and shared it with us to say kind of what he wanted to share out. And I guess the problem that I have, and just kind of be honest, there's a lot of times where they'll have a date or something or like a wish list, but there is a process to formally communicate at, releasing a video on behalf of a company or whatnot. So I think he has kind of the idea and the intent, but his timing has been off. So I've been bugging him to see if he's going to release that video that he said about a week ago would be coming out.
Well, hopefully we get something soon.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. More. What we're doing here is just in the chat, you type in a topic. I got about 9 topics queued up. We're going to try to rapid fire go through them. I guess for modding. Oh, there was a recent video that came out by a content creator that doesn't typically cover our Arcade1Ups, and I'm not trying to be mean, but like modding your cabinets evidently means twisting the bat top on a little bit tighter than normal. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean, but maybe that's a top. Like, I was like, I know this. I think everybody knows this, and I was trying to find. I think Nostalgia made a video like 3 years ago.
Yeah, take
that
something
was
like this.
how to get your bat
Take
tops
some
from not falling.
pliers.
That's
I mean,
right.
or you use Loctite, like $1's worth of Loctite, and then you're done. I mean, I don't know. It's not brain surgery.
Yeah, but maybe
listen, if you're
maybe
new to
there
it,
needs to be some more videos on it, because if you search for like my bat tops are falling off, I'm not finding any videos on it. So maybe
you might find the wrong subject.
yeah. Or maybe Arcade1Up should in the manual have an extra step that's like, I don't know,
How to
like,
tighten them.
The whole idea, and this is true whether it's an Arcade1Up or it's a standard cabinet, like if you have the type of joystick that will spin, that will free spin, then you just have a simple problem when you're screwing that on. You have a bat top that needs to be screwed on, like there's only so far you can go, and then the whole thing is spinning. And so I even just grab it with my fingers and turn it just a little bit. I don't have any issues.
Yep.
So that's a mod. Let's see. Ooh, here's a good one. Favorite content creator other than yourself?
It's good.
Fun.
Mine right now is another tech creator, Mr. Mobile. I know him. He's a really great guy. He does a lot of telephone content. Really, really amazing, sweet guy. Been super supportive of me, but just an amazing creator. What about you guys?
Go B.
Outside of like this community, because I watch a lot of this community too. Follow everybody here, just in watching shows and things. I do enjoy the fighting game community. And so JM Crofts is a guy that I really like watching his breakdowns and kind of his storytelling. He's a really good one. He made a fun video about how FGC's greatest villain met his unrivaled match, and it's like F-Champ against this guy, and it's like the greatest story at an Evo like competitive thing. It's so good. Like I really like him.
It's cool. So for me, I was in Retro World, and I was talking to this guy. We were having dinner. It was a group, and I was sitting across from him, but I didn't know who he was. He was a new acquaintance. And everything he was talking about, I was like, yes, I totally get what you're talking about, right? And I'm like, I think I've seen a video on that. And he's like, yeah, that's a good topic. So we're talking about it. And I'm saying all these things back to him about, did you know about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, about this game? And we're just going through all of these, like, how the code was actually broken down. And I was like, man, I love this guy. He's like, the type of conversation he has is just great. And so he says to me, I've been really thinking about changing my channel's name. He's a YouTuber. And he's like, do you think I should change my name? I was like, I don't know what ideas you have. And he goes, I don't know. I just, Displaced Gamer just doesn't sound like a great name. And I'm like, oh my God, you're Displaced Gamer. Like, you're one of my favorite content creators. Like, so fanboying right in front of this guy. And we've been talking for like 2 hours.
Oh, that's
and they
funny.
didn't know who it was, because he's a content creator that doesn't show his face. It's
all
like,
hands.
so he does all these videos where he shows you the code of the NES game and why Turtles is broken and swimming and breaks it down. And it's
Interesting.
great content creator.
Love it.
Yeah, you got to check him out. Let's see.
4 stars.
How about this one? What will one-up do the next shooter cab topic? What will Arcade1Up do?
Well, I mean, we're still waiting for the leaked Time Crisis. Was it Time Crisis?
Correct. Time Crisis.
So,
Which is a Namco cab that is rumored to have Time Crisis, the Point Blanks, and Steel Gunners are a kind of other Namco shooting games that could potentially be on that cabinet. I think the next kind of ripe cabinets that people really want would probably be between like House of the Dead or one of those other shooters. I really think a Lethal Enforcers cab would be a really good potential one too. A Lethal Enforcers 1 and 2. Yeah, I think those are some ones that I think people would enjoy. Area 51, right? Like Maximum Force would be a fun one. I think those are all very, very doable with chipset stuff. It's just a matter if they want to, can.
Here's a controversial one. Will Retro Ralph keep buying cabs?
Yes. He's buying one right now as we speak. Guaranteed.
100%.
What type of cabs? Arcade1Up? Real cab?
No, just cabs.
Any cab.
Doesn't matter. Any cab.
A taxi
cabs.
cab? Yeah,
He
sure.
actually texted me 3 times since we've been on this thing. He probably just bought 3. I don't know. I got to look at it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's kind of funny. His Barncade episode is the reason why I bought a different house. I was like, went down the path of buying a Barncade, and my wife was down for it. But the house that we ended up finding this house, and it has a huge basement, so it was a compromise. But I bought a ton of cabs in the last year, and he did that video today that's kind of like, how did I do? And I realized I have not done very well. I bought a ton of cabs that I don't need. So a lot of cabs that I can work on and convert them. And I'm in a pickle right now because it's getting wintertime here, so I got to get them out of my garage.
Yeah.
So it's going to be difficult to move a lot of cabs into my basement and into my office or something like that. But I wish they were like his list, like a TMNT would be great. They're just none available.
But those things
in
are
my
huge. He's looking at the 6-player X-Men. I'm like, bro, do you want a house anymore? That thing is the size of an apartment. It's like, why?
I think he needs to build his bunkercade in Arizona
100%.
or something, right? So it's the only
100%.
way. It's the only way.
But I am excited. October 7th, I think it is when my Star Wars Sega full-size arcade arrives.
Finally.
Yeah, finally.
The trilogy? So
the
you don't have
trilogy.
to play like that.
Holy
You don't have to
crap,
make
man.
one like me, right? You can play
Yeah,
the
I
real
think,
thing.
what was it, B? Do you remember? I think it was, because I was telling my daughter about it.
Oh, the
today. I
analog
was-
stick was not working.
Yeah,
So
you're
gotta
going to
fix
help
that.
me with that, right?
Mhm.
But I was looking online how much they usually go for, and I swear $2-3 grand. Like, it's not. I mean, maybe that's a stretch. Like, maybe you could find one for $1,500 if you look hard enough. But I think it was $900 was the auction. I think that's a deal. That's a
Dude,
good deal.
yeah, the one that
Wow.
was for sale in LA, like that I saw was like $5 grand. Like that was his asking price for it. And I was like, that's nice. That's a nice cab. I'm not gonna pay
Yeah, so
$5 grand for
I'm
a trilogy.
excited about that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that you find some good deals from time to time. And actually, I get a lot of comments recently on the channel talking about, like, I don't understand the appeal of Arcade1Up when you could just pay a few $100s more and get a full-size cabinet. And that is true, but also not true. And so it depends on what cabinet you're talking about, because
Yes.
I'm a person that buys both, right? So I buy, and there's certain cabinets that I've been really thinking about getting for Arcade1Up, and that's the Tron. Because a Tron full-size cabinet, the only one that's been available where I could purchase it was at auction, and it went to $2 grand. And so it's like, it's not a few $100s now. It's like I could probably pick up a Tron for $300 or $400 on Arcade1Up discount, or $2 grand for a Tron. Now, Street Fighter's an interesting one. I've been able to get a Street Fighter full-size cab for maybe $600 to $800. Those have been, at times at auction, something accessible. They all had flat screens in them, and they were, like, in poor condition. So the answer is, I don't see the appeal for Arcade1Up. Like, well, it depends. Like, do you live in an area where there's just tons of options available?
I know the reason why both Tron cabinets and Star Wars cabinets, the real ones, are such in small supply. I have a friend who lives in LA who brags that he has 25 real Star Wars arcade cabinets, cockpits, and he has about 17 Tron cabinets. He's just like a hoarder collector of them all. And he's like, B, do you want one? I'll sell you one. And I'm like,
10 grand, right?
well, I'll think about it. I'm sure you don't need one extra. But I'm trying to convince him to let me, like, go to his place and just make a short video content and be like, this is where arcades die, in hoarders' basements. And that's a true hoarder, man. Like, I don't know why you need that many. So
Let's see. We got some more topics coming in. They're pretty good here.
yeah.
How to keep your wife from killing you if you buy an expensive
John.
arcade or pinball machine. Do you have any advice on that, Travis?
You let your friends
my
call
God.
you out. I don't know, Travis. Go ahead.
I have no idea because I don't have a wife. So I mean, I
Significant
think I'd
other,
say is,
be
well, B
honest.
doesn't know because he's definitely getting crushed. I mean, we just don't see it. It's not on stream.
This is true.
He tries to sneak him in. What do you do, Justin? Or do you just is there like a negotiation period stage, or how does this work?
Yeah, so I've done some analytics on this. I've read the data, and I think everyone is different. But here's the general rule. To answer this, I'll try to answer this the best I can. So let's say you're in a marriage, and there's a lot of different philosophies, so I'm not going to get into that. But let's imagine you have a scenario where you want to make a very large purchase and your spouse doesn't want you to make that purchase. Ask yourself, why is that the case? And what I have found for me is it might be a strong word, but there's a little bit of jealousy in the sense of like, well, why do you get to be able to buy the thing that you really want, but I can't, right? Maybe I have a problem in my marriage that I need to work on, but I've heard that before. But I've noticed that if everyone's playing fair with the finances, there's bills are getting paid, credit cards are getting paid off, and then there's extra money, and that extra money feels neutral, shared, and no one's like taking too much of their share, there's no problem.
Yeah.
And my wife in the past has said, if you save up the money, I have no problem with you. She's extremely reasonable.
For us, it's more about the space. I know you said you moved into a new place with extra space. For us, it's because I had to like sell my couch to get rid of something. And anytime I bring something in, it's like, where are you going to put it? Because I buy real cabs and they just take up the entire garage because I buy stupidly big cabinets. So can we answer Anthony Scalia's question? Because he's put it in there about 10 times. And I want to make sure that we don't keep getting his question on there. Anthony Scalia. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on extreme home arcades? I may be picking up the 4-player Megacade. Is this the end-all, be-all arcade?
Huge ones. So I actually thought my AtGames was going to be my end-all, be-all. So my AtGames Legends Ultimate was my third cap. So I had the
multicade,
Pac-Man, and then I got Mortal Kombat. And then when I heard about AtGames and I could have all the games at one time, I was like, this is it. I don't have to buy anymore. But the problem with it, and we've talked about this on other shows, is that it doesn't scratch the nostalgic itch, and B, which happens more times than not, is you get analysis paralysis and you never end up playing any games because you're scrolling through them, just like on Netflix when you're looking for that one movie you want to watch and you've gone across 60 where you've watched 20 seconds of each one, and by the time you're done, you haven't watched anything and you just leave Netflix. It's kind of the same thing. If you can get past that, and then really just get into the games you want to play and pull them up, it's the one investment you don't have to worry about anything else. But I think human nature is, especially one of the reasons we have arcades is because of the nostalgia. For me, it never hits the nostalgic bone, whatever that is, and you always just end up scrolling and never playing. Well, at least I do.
Yeah.
So true.
I haven't done this when it comes to modding arcades, but I think this could work. Because I did this a few years ago. There was this guy, a content creator, and he's a hardware developer. He makes products. He suggested this thing of making a list of games that you want to beat this year, and then go through the list and beat them, and then go tweet hashtag beat it and then the year. It's like beat it 2017, beat it 2022, with a picture of the you got the completion screen. And you can come up with whatever rules you want. You want to beat Super Mario World, but not fully complete. You just want to beat Bowser, whatever. Just play the game. And I did that for a while, and it was a lot of fun. I beat a whole bunch of games from my childhood that I never beat before. And that was a great year. And what I've been wanting to do, but haven't done, is make that list of arcade games. And maybe they're arcades from Arcade1Up that I own, or maybe it's a multicade machine that I own. But it's like, instead of scrolling, what should I play tonight? You have a plan. You have a game plan. This year, I'm going to beat 10 games.
Because the sophisticated person would be like, I'm going to read 10 books this year. And no, we're like, I'm going to play 10 games this year. That's a good point. I would say I also went the way of when you have a small space and you can only kind of put a multicade, that's what I had to mod out of necessity originally. And my plan was to have just 3 cabinets that could play all the games I wanted to. But then when I grabbed more space, I felt happier having the variety that played smaller amounts of games than doing what Travis was saying. So that would be my feedback for that. It's all up to you.
Very cool. Let's see. There's some quick ones. What is your favorite song to play, Justin? Cherubrock for sure. Let's see. And this one's for Travis.
Smashing Pumpkins? Cherubrock?
Definitely isn't for me. I don't know who that is. How do you get so
that's for UB.
That's bees. Look at that hair. Look at that hair.
You know what's funny? Because after he came on the stream, I was like, I really feel like I need to work out, and so I had this set of dumbbells that I literally have not touched for almost like 10 months or so, and I was just like, all right, and I was thinking of Pitbull the whole time. I was like, and I was like, no. So you got to put in the work. That's what you got to do. You got to be committed. You got to eat right. You got to eat right.
So Travis, you mentioned earlier about sound systems for mod upgrades.
Well, so I'm kind of playing around with it. I have 3 different ones, and they're all improvements upon nothing. And like every single one is an improvement. From $20 up to $60, they're all an improvement. But from what I mean, you can go up to like, you know, the Logitech, like the $100 one or $90 ones. But I would argue that they're not $50 or $30 better than the ones that are like at $50. Like this one I got from Best Buy, like just their $60 kind of Insignia house brand 2.1 system is great. If you put that on Blitz, your mind's gonna be blown. If you put it on Killer Instinct, it's a different sounding game. Now you don't necessarily need to do this on all games, because you gotta remember some of the music on some of these older, especially 80s games, isn't exactly boombastic. Like you put it on Miss Pac-Man, you're probably not gonna hear much of a difference.
Right.
But you put it on something with bass, and you're gonna feel and hear the difference for sure. 100%.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Let's see. Joseph says, will Daytona USA come with Sega Super GT? Same company. Or should we start asking differently for it? I want Sega Super GT more than Daytona.
Yeah, that's so Daytona is a Sega Model 2 game, so you got to look at the rest of the library that's on that, and I can't remember specifically Super Sega GT, but we can look it up and see, because if Daytona would obviously be the main cab if they were going to do it. If they're going to do a Model 2 cabinet,
100%.
that would be the marquee. What they add with it, there's actually lots of good driving games on the Model 2 library. I really like the Model 2 driving library. There's a game called I think Over Rev, which is really fun too. So there's a couple of good Model 2 games you can look, and we could speculate what good games would be good to pair with the Daytona if you have like a games list for Model 2.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a Model 2. It would just have to be like, let's see, I don't think they've unlocked Model 2 or Model 3, right?
Correct. They're not there yet with their current set.
Right, but if a game is a racing game that is something they've unlocked, meaning that there's a commercial emulator out there that can run on their platform, then it could pair with it. I'm looking real quick, and Sega GT, at least on the wiki, it shows it, like for the console, it shows it as Dreamcast.
Yeah, Super Sega GT. I actually have that on. I could play it on my Star Wars cabinet right here because I have it on my PC build. So, but yeah, that is there. It's Super GT 24H. There's also Over Rev. I really like that game. Sega Touring Car Championship is a good one. Indy 500. Actually, I think a Daytona plus an Indy 500 would be kind of fun to have as two marquee driving type of things would be fun. So yeah, Sega Rally Championship too. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, it's a good question. It would be fun if someone did some research and try to come up with like a good package, you know. I haven't heard that topic. A lot of people just say like, we want Daytona, but don't talk about the other set of games that could work on it. Yeah. What if Arcade1Up is acquired by a large company corporation? Pros and cons from your point of view.
Well, a lot of potential pros depending on who acquires them, if they understand what's going on. So a lot of the little niggly things that we don't like, maybe buttons and stuff, maybe the quality goes up. Having said that, again, it depends on who acquires them. Bad things could happen. They could go with cheaper parts because they're trying to get the profit margin higher. Like, it really depends. In a perfect world, if we're like, the perfect company comes in and sprinkles great joy across Arcade1Up, we get better joysticks and buttons and emulation and blah, 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 blah. That would be great. But again, if it's a company that's trying to hit margins, you're going to see crappier products 100% because they're going to try to get those margins even deeper than whatever they currently are.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's really funny because you take a look at all the different companies in the home arcade space, and in my line of business, I don't know, Travis, if it's like this for you, but like the executive leadership and the way that the company is ran at different companies, we've talked about this. It's like when we go write code, our code is sometimes structured by the influence of the executives designing the corporate structure. It's this weird thing. It's like it influences so much from the top down. If the company has a top-down vision that's pushed every day, this like agenda of how we're going to run our business, you can see it influenced so thoroughly through the company. Almost like a cult, if you will. It's a very weird phenomenon that I've noticed. But you look at the different companies. The point is like if you look at the people that run Arcade1Up or the people that run AtGames, people that run Unico, I've talked to them in person. I have not met the guy in Unico, but I've talked to him on the phone a lot. And it's like when you talk to them in person, the product makes sense. It's like this is how this person talks. This is like how they operate when they describe. Okay, the final product, like it's almost like their baby. It's their product. And so to your point of like if they got bought out and those people are not part of the company, it's a different company now. There's going to be some formula that's shared, right? They'll be like, this is how we make money. This is the formula. Whether they want to follow that, if they say, no, we think we can run the company better, we're going to change the formula, you're going to have a different product, I think. iArcade, same thing. Like you play the iArcade and you talk to Jong and I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's like his blood is in the product if you get my drift. I don't know. That's weird. Like think of Steve Jobs, right? Like that's an example of like this
where he was
brilliant mind. It's like
in everything.
100%. And then people are now going like, you know, the iPhone is no longer the Steve Jobs product. Like he had all these design styles. Like he wanted to echo the nostalgia from the 80s. So originally the icons looked like a music player from your, like you grew up, but that's all kind of design style has changed. You see anything else interesting? We're running towards the end of the show.
Yeah, no, I just saw my favorite brand. Whatever's cheapest. Let's see. Get arcades that need some work and get it to the body of work to be able to get the cab you want. I'm not sure what that means.
This one?
Yeah. Get arcades that need some work. Oh, I see. And get to the body work. And okay. So like get something and then kind of, but I don't want to do all that. Like I don't have time for all that. Just give me the thing. I want to be done with it.
Okay, yeah. I think this is in reference to what we were talking about earlier, perhaps. Where, and this is the thing. So I've been chatting with Pitbull more recently, and he was on my show last Sunday. And I think what he's referring to is like, it's funny when you buy arcades, full size arcades. There's many different routes to it. The very first full size arcade that I bought was a Nintendo Play Choice, but I had someone refurbish it. And he did all the work, right? So he found it. He showed it to me. We looked at it. I told him what I want changed to it. I want to keep it the blue color and all this. He restored the monitor. He did all the work, right? And then I just paid him, and then he delivered it, and it was great. That's an option. I've also bought some cabinets that I got to do the work, right? So that's an option. And I think what
that's not for you guys. I'm too lazy for that. I can't do all that.
And I think we should respect that. Like, there's some people that are like, they want to get into the hobby. They're like, you know what I want to do? I want to learn how to discharge a CRT. I remember that conversation with Ralph a couple years ago. He was like, I'm going to learn how to discharge a CRT, and I'm going to do it live. I'm like, okay, let's do this. But that's not everybody, right?
Funny enough, I've still not fixed any of my arcades that I've gotten from like 2 years ago.
Yeah, no surprise. You mean that big garage of games that could be an arcade if any of them worked? You mean that thing?
Yeah.
That place where you can't put your car anymore, just like Ralph?
Two out of three of them work. No.
Okay.
Kind of. Well, one and a half work out of three.
What's the half?
No, because I have a dual seater virtual on, so one side works and the other side doesn't. So like I can play one player.
Seater.
It was a dual seater.
You could have bought a single seater, and then it would have been 100%
you can't buy a single seater virtual
exactly
on.
Right, B.
It does
exactly
not.
Right. And you don't
it was
have
only
the other half.
it was only $600. I was like, I could fix that. And then I bought a non-working Star Wars pod racer for $400, and I was like, it's just a cool thing to sit in because it's a pod racer.
Do you sit in it?
I do sometimes. I did. So Well, when I drove it home in the back of my friend's truck, I like the last block. I was like, "Hey, let me get out so I can like sit in it." And I recorded myself riding down the street in a pod racer. And then the last game actually fully worked. It's a Gunman Wars. So yeah,
That's amazing.
solid.
Anthony says, "I'll stop spamming," and I noticed he has been spamming this.
He's
same
spamming
message.
this. I'll stop
This is
spamming
a
what I
different
said.
message. It's
He
a
was
different
spamming.
message.
I'll stop
Super
spamming.
appreciate all your opinions, mean a lot, and all you guys keep up the great content. You're all great in your own ways, and keep the retro gaming alive. Thanks, guys.
Hashtag get loud.
Let's see. So let's put this to bed. So Peter Griffin, there's been enough leaks out there. I think not everyone is like, what do you want to say it? Some people that are still speculating, but what I've heard, I don't know, B, if you were paying attention, but what I had heard is Time Crisis is coming. It's probably the games list that you said earlier, but I can't remember what they were. It's not an XL. It's a 17-inch. Sorry, Peter Griffin.
Yeah, and the thing
that's what
about it that is why the price leak was so high is that it does have a couple of new features that, you know, I think think Ridge Racer shape of a cabinet. I think it's going to have like that top marquee because that's what the original Time Crisis looked like. And it's going to have a pedal, obviously, and then it's going to have 2 guns for the other games, but Time Crisis is a single player game. So it's going to be like this weird setup. So I don't know if it's because of all the new tech, it's that much more expensive. But based on kind of the release dates of everything, I don't know if it's still going to make it this year. I don't know if it's going to hit its original timeline on that Gamefly list.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because we've seen everything else that was supposed to be for that timeline. So why isn't it announced yet?
And it's too close to Christmas time. Like it would have to come out in the next like 30 days or next 2 weeks. It would have to come out to be out in time for Christmas.
And funny enough, you know what the NFL Blitz street date was on that Gamefly list? Do you remember what the original date was?
What was it?
November 15th.
November
Was
15th.
November 15th was the original date of the Gamefly list. And you know how there's all this smack about right now Blitz not being ready? I think my speculation is that they released it early to capitalize on the start of the NFL season. It's the only reason why it came out so
Had to
early
have.
at this point
Had
was
to
to
have.
really just say, hey, NFL season is starting and we have all these partnerships. But from a production standpoint, November 15th, maybe it got pushed or swapped because I think NBC2 was an October 15th date. I don't know how close those dates meant, but it was just interesting to me that was the original date for the Gameplay list.
That is pretty interesting. I'm sitting here going to 19K Fox channel because, you know, he
He's the
he
one that
usually
has it.
puts that up like every week. He's like, let's take a look at it again. But I'm scanning through it. his
I'll
video.
put it
I can't find
in a send you a chat picture of it because I just snapped it because like I looked at it today and I was like, huh, this is kind of interesting. Here, I just sent it in chat right now, so you can grab that picture.
There is one more really cool
Or
question.
I could probably share it too. Huh? That would be
why don't you
even
just do
smarter.
that?
After that, get the Kevin Grace Jr. one after B shows his thing.
So this thing, that's what you're talking about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where's it at?
Top right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
NFL Arcade1Up Blitz coming
Look,
11/15,
MVC2 was
22.
10:15,
10:15,
which is still potentially correct.
about right for their timeline. Yep. And then the Time Crisis one was 10:15 as well. And we know now, like, no release at this point in time, nothing there. So 10:15 Time Crisis, 10:15 Marvel vs. Capcom, 11:15 NFL Blitz.
I wonder if the price is wrong too, because they seem to be settling on this new $5.99 as the price of their new stuff. So it's like $4.99, and we had heard about this. It was like the reason why they could do $4.99 is because whenever they come out with a new title, there's what is it called, minimum guarantee. It's like, hey, the company wants $1 million or something like that, just off the top. And then when they do like a re-release, it's like they got their minimum guarantee. And so they're just like, okay, this is a re-release, so it's $4.99. And so I don't know, maybe since Time Crisis would be a brand new game, then maybe it's just $5.99. That's all it is. It's like a Blitz price. Like,
I hope so.
if it's not,
I
like,
hope so.
it'd have to be like, well, they did jump up for Tron and stuff like that, but hopefully that was just like cost of goods, and maybe the price is settled now at the $5.99. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
What topic did you see, Travis?
The one about Japanese cabs versus in like America, the Kevin Grace Jr. one. Do you see the home arcade scene embracing Japanese arcade culture like Vuelix and candy cab designs? That's an interesting one. So again, I feel like this is a niche of a niche, and if they wanted to, they could do a limited supply on arcade1up.com and probably sell out of those. I think if they try to put something like that in Walmart, it goes nowhere, because no one has the nostalgic feeling when they walk in and go, "Oh my God, Miss Pac-Man! Remember we used to play it all the time." Like they're going, "What the hell is that? It looks like a toilet seat." Like that's not going to happen. But they could do it on .com if they really wanted to. And again, I think like half crowdfunding some of that stuff and then using that money as a pre-order is an absolutely viable way for Arcade1Up to bring some of these niche titles that people want, that they're not going to sell 10,000 of. They might sell 2,000 or something of. And if the community basically pre-orders it in a way, I know people are like, "Oh, pre-order," but this is a different type of pre-order. Like if you don't pre-order, it's never going to happen. You never know.
Right. The other thing I want to say, Kevin, is if you're not following 19K Fox, you should. He did spend $2,000 paying a company in China to ship him a candy cab. And I don't think a lot of people are doing that, but he's taking the risk for us. And if it comes out to be, a good deal, I know $2,000 is a lot of money, but to import a candy cab, but what other options are there? Like, you're probably not going to find one for that price. Remember, Scarlet Sprites was talking about he got his candy cabs years ago when prices were low, and it was $800. And I mean, that would be amazing. Like everyone would jump at that price if it was like that now. But I want to say 19K Fox $2,000 deal is a candy cab, CRT, shipped, including shipping. Like that's the out the door price.
Yeah, and the difference really is like candy cabs, I think were meant for CRTs versus all the Vuelix ones that I've seen are like the modern flat screen ones. So they're almost like upgraded candy cabs. In fact, my guy to die for, Bobby Vu, just released a review video for a Vuelix cabinet that he got with a Pandora's box in it. That was like a fighting game cabinet. It looked really fantastic and awesome. And I think I wouldn't do, I guess like classic retro games, I think look nice on a CRT, but a modern Vuelix setup that's already kind of like configured for just fighting games, I can see that as a really nice appealing thing for a fighting game fan. So I can think candy cabs, fighting games, that's a good genre to have those for. But I don't know what else you would put in them.
Get a Vuelix, put a big LCD in it with low lag, no motion blur. Hook that up to a Mister, get some 1440p going.
Nice.
You can sit 2 inches from that. It's going to look amazing.
Yeah, super close.
We ready to wrap up, guys? I think we're
yeah.
It's a fun night. Thank you so much, Travis, for coming on to the stream. Such a late, fun stream, though.
Love it. It was great.
Well.
I think it was great.
Let's do a quick spotlight round. Final thoughts time. Travis, what is the summary of your? I'll give you a few seconds to think.
Yeah, I mean, in general, listen, man. I mean, I've had a weird couple of weeks outside of this community, and then you add the community on top. And the one thing that keeps coming back to me is just, can you just be nice to each other? Like, I don't understand what's going on in the world in general, but certainly in this community, it's like so many things. We're just talking about video games and cabinets. Like, who cares? Just be nice to each other. I don't understand what all the fuss is about.
Yeah.
There you go.
What do you got? Final thoughts, B.
Yeah, I agree with you, Travis, 100%. And a lot of times for us, especially the panel here, enjoy making content for things that make us feel good. YouTube is a place for us to, I say it oftentimes, it's pretty much adult show and tell. And I like to talk about the fun things that I like, and it's a positive experience. But my heart really does go out to those impacted by the hurricanes, not only Fiona and Ian and whatever else is happening. I'm in the disaster relief business, so all day I've been following what's happening there. And so if you have a moment to check out and you know anybody in the Florida area, please reach out to them. I know my good buddy Angel Otero Jr. was messaging that he was hunkering down. I had a couple of friends and clients that are over there too that was just messaging. How to Bachelor, I know that you're in the chat right now. So yeah, if you're in the area that's impacted, stay safe, everybody. We'll be thinking about you and anybody else that's impacted too. So
yeah, guys, just wanted to go live, try to get some fun vibes going in the community. Play your games, enjoy it, and I think that's all we have. Stay safe, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Think Bekong, you got a show coming up tomorrow planned? You working on something?
I will be. I have always things to work on, so maybe I'll finally build like this random T2 cab that's just been sitting there waiting to be built. I really haven't touched it yet. It's sitting there next to a lightsaber and an air conditioner. So the things that are in my arcade. All
right, thanks guys so much for hanging out, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.